All right, so I broke the rule of David Foster Wallace, and I left it on one page. But I'm going to use these as notes to go back over before they go in here. I think the reason why he did it is because it's quicker to go through with another sheet and analyze it and rewrite it and then put it in here. But unfortunately, I don't have the time to read Infinite Jest, not the whole thing, and practice his methods. So I'm just being honest, if you know what I mean. So I'm choosing one sheet at a time. I think that's how Sam Shepard did it, probably. They used a journal. It's the first one, second one, a number at the top. Then it'll go in here. Third page is just a little tiny scene with a drunken demon, and we know her as Dee Dee. So he's probably going to say Dee Dee right here. That's why I have to interpret this, okay? Think of W.B. Yeats. Okay, W.B. Yeats wrote poetry. He believed in something called the Spiritus Mundi. It's one spirit that took over his hand and wrote it. Just go with me, okay? Now, so because I put parentheses of Dee Dee here, her name is not Drunken Demon, but we do see it in the play, but only the actors will read that. And the audience might get a, whenever they go to see it, it might say Drunken Demon, also Dee Dee. It'll probably say Dee Dee, a drunken demon. See how the interpretation goes? So I'm looking at what I'm doing. I'm not writing it down saying this is masterful, this is perfect. I'm writing it down and I'm analyzing it like a poem, okay? Maybe like music, okay? That's what Aaron Sorkin does. I look at it like a poem. Now, we've got this, right? This is a quick scene. So we get a glimpse of his life. That's what I'm analyzing here. So he's doing the dishes. He's putting stuff in the dishwasher. He's still called the playwright. So she hasn't said his name yet. He'll be called the playwright until his name is said. When his name is said out loud in the play and the audience can hear it, then he earns the right for his name. So right now he's the playwright until his name is uttered. There's no reason to put a name down on a sheet of paper under where the actor reads unless his name is mentioned in the play. Now, you don't have to go by that rule, but I think it's a cool rule because I've seen it in some other screenplays and things like that. All right? So those are some thoughts and ideas. It's a very short scene. So, okay, so I have some work to do. Okay, last thing. This is a pretty good method. Don't rush the play. The reason why you don't want to rush the play is because you'll end up with a novel, which I'm working on too. And I've had to put my novel aside. I'm on like page 78. So don't rush it. This is enough right here. This is enough to analyze and to think about, right? Okay, and then it makes it to the typewriter or the Mac or whatever you use. It can be Dell or Android or whatever it is you like to use. It does not matter the software. Although these babies are dependable. They can launch a nuclear missile, and it's got a terabyte up and a terabyte down. These things are great. They don't fail you ever. But regardless, and that's important, you want a typewriter that works because you'll have a due date. This one I'm going to be careful with. All right, so yeah, this is more about the outside structure of the play. So I did make a decision. I decided to say her name, Dee Dee, excuse me. That's why she earns the right to have Dee Dee right there. Started off as Drunken Demon, and then it moved into Dee Dee. That's why I put it in parentheses. That's why all plays have to be interpreted. So if it makes it, then these papers will be valuable. It'll probably go into this the same way. I can go back with another sheet of paper and exact it, but I think this method is okay as long as I study it and spend time analyzing it. So to introduce to the playwright, we do it with 2 scenes. I'm pretty sure on these scenes too. This is a scene in the kitchen, where lights down, lights up will establish a time change. And then the time changes into basically like the living room. From these words, the TV spills the sounds of 1950s Rashomon. So we hear that on the stage. She says, "It's late, dear. What are you watching?" Rashomon. It's from 1950 Japanese, Akira Kurosawa. She says, "Keep it down." The playwright, "I've got my headphones, I'll connect them. Going back to bed, love." And that means a lot right here. And we can find out some stuff about him right here. So these two will talk a little bit about him. And I like the rhythm of this. It's short and sweet. It's exposition. It's towards the beginning. It's page 3. So we have page 1, which introduces, in a way, this is a kind of a harder introduction to him as a playwright, basically talking to himself right here. This will switch to eventually the drunken demon arrives and gets the falsity to him. So she's 2 people, a little like Rashomon. Sorry, I take from life. But she's 2 people in a way. She's the drunken demon, and she's Dee Dee. Mostly she'll be Dee Dee. Dee Dee's just her like nickname. It's like his love interest. And this will go on between them. There's a lot I can do with 2 people. I like that idea of having just 2 people on stage for this particular play. I haven't done this method before with this loose leaf paper. I like it because it reminds me of drawing. I like drawing and stuff. But we'll get it in here soon, and then we'll tell you about the plans later. All right, added some more stuff. We introduce the sounds of the cat, which is probably what I'm going to do for now, rather than do an invisible cat. So we just hear the cat. He talks about the cat. We don't have to worry about the cat. I'm not going to put it in the cats list on this one. But we can hear the cat. So there's a meow. The cat scratching a cat tree. We probably could do that. And then we have a door shutting. She walks out or goes to the bedroom or whatever. And then it says, "Who said you could scratch the couch, kitty? You have a cat tree. It's better." And that scene will end there. This is probably late night, so we can write. You can't really show late night, but we can say late at night. Okay, just to let them know, the director and the actors and everything. Just say shadows everywhere. And what they'll probably do on the shadows everywhere is they'll make it kind of probably like Rashomon. Because Rashomon is mentioned in the dialogue. So he's watching Rashomon. She says to keep it down. He gets his headphones. We hear the cat, just like you can hear the cat now, maybe. And the lights go down. He says, "Who said you could scratch the couch, kitty? You have a cat tree. That's better." Got it? So we just keep it simple. Then so far we have 2 pretty good scenes. Okay, so we're getting. I'm surprised. I'm thrown off key here that we actually did 2 scenes in 2 days. All right, guys. If you're into movies, if you want to be a filmmaker, this is a must 100%. The very ending especially. It is a brilliant, brilliant film by a man named Akira Kurosawa, who actually cast Martin Scorsese in another film called Dreams. This one's pretty good too. It's modern. It's a 2010 film by Lee Chang-dong. Another good one is The Hidden Fortress, which is Akira Kurosawa too. And also Scorsese recommends The Red Shoes too. All of these are really, really, really good ones. This one's probably one of my favorites though. This one and Hidden Fortress. All his stuff is brilliant. Anyway, I gotta go. Alright guys, so they're shooting Landman. Taylor Sheridan, completely brilliant. Billy Bob Thornton, brilliant. Probably one of our best actors ever, Billy Bob. I know his story, I met him. Well, I talked to him in New York at the Actors Studio, but he went out he tried to be a musician most of his life. They're filming right down this way. It's a stockyard. It's pretty crowded too. They're probably zoning certain restaurants or something. I don't know. It's a rumor. I don't know if it's true. Don't quote me, but supposedly they're filming scenes from Landman, the movie that Taylor Sheridan I think is behind. Billy Bob Thornton's behind it, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyway, the story behind him is he tried to be a musician, and he went out to Hollywood and met an acting teacher. Sorry, I had to do that real quick. So he met the acting teacher, and he said he used to look in the mirror and make this weird face, talk like that, kind of, he talked like a lawnmower kind of thing. And the acting teacher said, well, why don't you try a monologue, writing out a monologue. And that turned out to be like a one-act play. So they say he has a little bit of OCD, but I don't really believe in all the OCD shit. That Abraham Lincoln had OCD, and all these writers. He had what's called creativity, okay? Hyper creativity. So that one act play turned into a screenplay called Sling Blade, and got him hooked up with Angela Jolie as his spouse, pretty much. And I think he won an Oscar for that. I'll have to go back and check, but I think he did. And this was, I think, I gotta go check on what the Oscar was. I want to say it might have been for screenplay. It may have been for Best Actor, but I know he was nominated 100%. But I'll do some research on it. And that, that's how it happens. It just, he all of a sudden, he started getting these big checks, and they deemed him movie star. So he's in town shooting Landman, and kind of proud of him because, for one thing, he was there as a teacher, a guest teacher of mine. So he's considered one of my teachers. And to be honest, the only thing I really learned from him is I asked a lot of writing questions because I was interested in writing my own stuff. And I wanted to know how he wrote The Gift, which was a great movie with Keanu Reeves and Cate Blanchett. And it's about a person that has a gift that can tell the future, like a palm reader, right? And they, anyway, it's about his mom. His mom was like this is what he said. And he believed his mom has the ability to tell the future, basically like a palm reader. And so the movie did really well. I saw it in LA. So I asked him, I said, well, could you tell us about The Gift and how you wrote it? And he talked about he was really busy at the time when he wrote it. He had his kids on his laps. He was writing it in the kitchen. He just had to write it all out. And then it turned into a movie, and he cast Keanu Reeves, or maybe the casting director did, or whatever, and Cate Blanchett. And go see it. It's actually really good. It's surprisingly good. It's kind of theatrical. It kind of reminds me of a play. Anyway, he's doing Landman. Check it out, too. I think that's probably connected to Paramount. Paramount Pictures is what I'm guessing. Christian Wallace, Boomtown. Okay, those are some other names. So Landman is also inspired by a podcast called Boomtown. Taylor Sheridan hooked up with Christian Wallace to write it, if I'm not mistaken. It's Paramount Plus. It's probably really good, and they're in the stockyards getting all the scenes. It's the drama series. It's a television series. You're probably only going to be able to watch it on cable. Paramount Plus. All right, here we go. Looks like some rain. We'll be battling the train, and that rhymes. We got a train out here in Blue Mountain. I call it the Gate. Reason why is because they're gonna say, I got some lightning. That one's dedicated to Spielberg because he got a star falling during Jaws. All right. So the train is like a gate. It'll block your way. Literally, it'll stop right on the tracks. Then you got to find another way to get around. You cannot be late. Remember, my boss is a computer. Okay. These are things like this is called the Dash. Okay. It's an online delivery service. All right. So if I'm late, they don't care. I can give them a reason. They don't care. The computer is the one that fires you. All right. So they may look it over. But you get a thing called contract violation if you're too late, and that's it. So they allow some of them, and we got one a while back. But it wasn't for because of the train. It was because of a GPS mistake. So we also have to verify the GPSs. You do that by looking on the app, the address they give you, and then if you're going to use Google Maps or if you use their in-app, it's risky both. Gotta go. All right, we got one. About 4:02 arrival, 7 minutes, 2.7 miles. Palio Pizza Cafe. Forgive my pronunciations. I'm an actor. Sorry, you might hear me occasionally direct myself to. I was thinking today, because I am an actor, but I'm also a playwright and a writer, things like that. the playwrights, we've got rain on the way. The playwrights and the screenwriters both envy one another, right? So the filmmaker will envy the playwright, and the playwright will envy the filmmaker, because those that are in film and the movies, getting interruptions on my phone, sorry. They envy the theater. The real artist is in the theater. The filmmaker envies the playwright, and the playwright envies the movies. It's like the real art is the movies, in some cases, yeah. So someone like Sam Shepard, who was a great playwright, Pulitzer-winning playwright, he envied himself, because he was both a playwright and a screenwriter and a filmmaker. They're jealous of one another. They fight, they feud. Who is the artist? There are 2 items here. Spinach artichoke and small cheese pizza. Let's go get it. Gotta watch out for my plate there. I don't want them to see that. Alright, so when it's getting you GPS like this, it's just safer just to put in the address. It's just easier. It's more convenient to do, portrait as opposed to when you're hooked up with this thing, which is the car Apple. It's easier just to do portrait rather than a landscape where it's all cinema. So just establishing a new style. All right, headed to Hotspot. That's a Hotspot. That's a place you go to get action. All right, got one from McAllister's. Linda almost worked there. It's gonna be about 1.4 miles for tax purposes. All right, this one's Little Caesars. It's about 1.5 miles. All right, drop off is 2.6 miles. We'll be there at 5:15. And that signifies I'm in Haltom because of the buffalo. Easy. All right, we got one at Hofbrau Steakhouse. Be there 1.4 miles for tax purposes. Future musician right there. Him and his dog should be signed. You want to find him, find resell is the rest, whatever that is, a business to find him. It's probably the next Woody Guthrie. Right next to Hofbrau Steakhouse. Haltom. There's a goldfish sushi. That would help you find him. He's got a guitar. He's playing it next to his dog. He's probably a master musician. Hofbrau. Looks like at Hofbrau Steakhouse, the world's greatest customers pass through these doors. You know why? Because they eat a bunch of cattle. All right, time for a little break. Soda. And these are about 420 calories. So we're going to add that 420 to the calorie count. So we're going to add that 420 to the actual calorie count. 420 calories. I figured this fucking out. It's what they call it, a Interceptor. Yeah, a Ford Interceptor utility truck. Over at Lisa's. As we're dealing with a different train, listen up and listen up, okay? So the internet failed in that area of the Hofbrau drop, okay? I don't know the reason why, but couldn't get into any of the apps or anything. So I got on the highway as quick as I could, and then I put down, I think it gives you several different things in the template. handed to customer was one thing, which it was dropped at his door. He did come out and get it. But there's something that you can put down in one of the templates to signify why it was late. It was dropped on time, but I can't prove it because the internet dropped during the drop. So there's something I think you can put down where it says it was already delivered or something like that, but you have to dispute the contract violation. In this case, the train, it was the internet. The gate to block me was the internet. So it dropped and it gave me a violation. So it was dropped off on time, but I guess I could send a photo to them, but it also wouldn't let me take a photo either for some reason. It wouldn't let me take the photo. I did end up taking the photo though, but he went in and got the order before I could take the photo. So somehow, I don't know if he had some type of thing that blocked the phones. I was not able to take a photo. So be careful in some of these houses because of how internet is. I was not able to take a photo. And I was not able to get into any of the apps until I got to the highway. And then everything reset itself. I had to log back into the app and everything. It's always good to have friends. You never can do it on your own. So we're gonna head back to Bandcamp. I'm gonna get a phone that has 5G on it. My next big step here, as soon as I can, is I gotta go buy Verizon. I'm gonna see if they can put me into an iPhone 15 Pro. Sometimes they can lower the prices by doing that. You don't have to get hit with such a big bill. I'm just gonna have to go over to 5G. So that's the next big step. Probably be going to Verizon maybe the next couple of days. This thing's too laggy, right? This is iPhone 11. So I'll probably be going to iPhone 15 or higher. And they've been bugging me anyway about wanting to upgrade. That way I can use two devices. I can tether this tether this device to the other phone, so you can tether phones together. I'll make sure I can do that, make the purchase, and I'll go buy Verizon and talk to them. I get everything Verizon approved. Gotta get back in the zone. All right. This is round 2. But I got a better phone, so I didn't get, iPhone 15 yet. Instead, I got, this guy's gonna cut me off right here. It's an SE, which is a step up. I think this is 2000, I gotta look at the year. This one's a 2019. That's an iPhone 11 right here. iPhone 11. This one is the SE. So I'm still doing research on it. It's a newer phone, and it does handle, and it has a capability of handling 5G. So that's my main reason why I'm probably gonna look into the iPhone 15 is for the 5G capability. Whenever I bought it from this guy at a Verizon, well, when I started to pay for it at the Verizon, I asked him, does it have 5G capability? And he goes, yeah, sure. Yeah, that quick. He's one of those soulful, salesmen that just talks in anything. I'm glad I have it though. I'll tell you why I'm glad I have the iPhone 11, and I'm appreciative of it. It's still a good phone, and also this phone was around when Steve Jobs was still alive, meaning it was the last model before he passed away. iPhone 12 and up went into 5G, and Steve Jobs was no longer around. But I'm gonna look at the year on the SE, and we'll talk about it in a minute. This show has to do a lot with technology and driving, and I do apologize to the Secretary of Transportation. His name's Pete. He's right. I should not do these kinds of things, but because of my circumstances, it's a long story. Unfortunately, I have to. So, but you can see I do have this screen, which does help it easy. It makes it easier and safer. I do this so that I'm always seeing it, and I do try to move it over a little bit so I can see the other part of the dash. But I heard the interview with Smartless with Pete, and I think he should go for it. I think he should run for a Democratic, I don't agree with all the Democrats or the Republicans. I'm fourth party because we believe in faith, hope, love, and charity. But I do hope that if he does make it, okay, because if I was going to run against him, and I don't know if these are just things, I don't even really know if I want to be president. But if I were to run against him, I do want a better country, okay? That's the reason why I posed on my channel that I wanted to try to become president. I think all Americans should, because they should want change, and they should want a better country. The reason why is because I don't think that we're very charitable to one another. I don't think we show charity to one another. We've come boxed in our own worlds. We're obsessed with technology. We're obsessed with war. We're obsessed with brand names, shopping and television and Apple TV. And there's nothing wrong with any of it. It's part of the blessings that God has given us. But we don't have that obsession with being charitable to our neighbor and to people that are stranded and that need help. And a lot of times we answer, rather than love, we answer with hatred or anger or confusion. And that's what I want to bring to light, enlightenment with our country, is because we want to stop that from happening. We want a better world for people like that. I think we can give these devices, either police officers would be trained to help by giving out these devices that we could build. Our country certainly has the money to build these types of devices. I'm talking about like an iPhone, right? The government could build to help those types of people that are completely stranded to find safety and to help fight against the elements. And when I mean the elements, I mean the hot sun or the cold winter, the rain, the lightning, the thunder. That's scary, to have to fight the elements on your own like that. And I feel that these devices can help us if we monitor them and help them, right? Because they can use it to help save their own lives and others, rather than just hold a sign and just say help, And no one really addresses it that much. I didn't think the Trump campaign addressed it. Homelessness. I don't think Biden's administration put it that should have been their first goal as a Democrat. That should be their first goal, to make sure the American people are safe. Now, they hinted at it, because Kamala Harris said, she was a lawyer, and she said the first thing she asked her clients were, how you doing, right? She wanted to know their well-being and their health and how they were doing, like how they were surviving, what they were, because she cared about the people that she was serving. But I don't feel that this country does. I feel a lot of hatred, and it's scary to live here. I kind of believe in a way we've become kind of like communists. The Russians a long time ago, if you spoke badly against the government, they took you in a helicopter and pushed you out in the ocean, and you were gone. But if you move the wrong way in front of a police officer, you're gone. You reach for something that you shouldn't reach for. That's the way we're training our police officers today. I just got one. All right, back in business. The first thing this country should be doing, I gotta go to McDonald's, is we should be looking out for the safety of one another. And I know that the Secretary of Transportation is going, what are you doing? I'm trying to survive, is what I'm doing, okay? I know that that's what he had to do whenever he was over at the desert in Afghanistan. buddies, he was also trying to survive. Because listen, if he does a guilt trip on me and says, where's the service? I'm going to say, listen, I've been behind enemy lines the entire time. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand the things that I believe. I've been behind enemy lines the entire time, whether you like it or not. My church helped me realize that. The church was under attack today, or I got the news within a few hours this morning that the church was under attack. It could have happened yesterday. I don't know exactly when it happened. I think it was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday service, or it was a Sunday. But regardless, it didn't matter when it happened. And I don't think they should have killed that guy either, but he was dangerous. And the parishioner ran his vehicle into him and killed him, and they're probably going to give him a medal, and I don't think they should. I know this sounds crazy. God would have to forgive that man that ran the truck into him, because the man that did it was confused, and I think he had a military past. And all I'm saying to the Secretary of Transportation, Pete, and I'll mispronounce your last name, I'll have to learn how to pronounce it. I think the killing needs to stop. And I think we need world peace. We're only going to do it with technology, and we're only going to do it with teaching, right? Teaching our young kids that maybe sometimes you have to be a living sacrifice. Now, they saved everyone in the church, and not everyone died, but a man was killed, and that was the shooter. And I'm actually think that we should show compassion towards him and not just gun down these mass shooters immediately. We need to address the fact that we could still save their lives. They were confused and lost, most likely maybe because of pharmaceutical medication, maybe because of serotonin uptake takes, maybe because they're just lost because of evil forces. And it's going to take a long time before we stop becoming scared and just pulling our guns out and shooting one another. Who cares if they have a badge? Who cares if there was security at a church? They might could have saved him, but the guy ran his truck into him, you know? But he was going to go in and kill everyone, so he was wrong too. So it's a weird world that we live in. It's weird to even think about church and what sacrifice is and what living sacrifice is. It's weird how we're going to have to approach this and how we're going to have to help one another. But I've got some ideas. I got specific ideas about helping schools, using smoke devices for mass shooters. We could even have those in churches too, where we could have a cloaking smoke or people could hide behind, or it could confuse the shooter. So we just don't have to kill people all the time, you know? It was suicide. I mean, he went in there to commit suicide. I don't know. It's a weird world that we're in. It's a long name. Boy, they're obsessed with these cookies at McDonald's. 13 cookie tote. Caramel frappe, hot and spicy McChicken meal. Remove the hot and spicy. Perfect.
Same bag.
Right, just
Same
one order.
Just two
Right.
bags.
Thank you.
I'm like trying to talk.
Exactly. I do it all the time. Okay. All right, about 2.3 miles for taxes. get the other company in there or anything. You know, really. Let's see if I can get the address. There we go. All right, you can see it says Wingstop, and there's the order. And here we go. And we'll be there 0.9 for taxes.